I can hear you great.
Hi, Declan. You're inside tonight.
Back home. Yeah, the grey. It's really foggy in Istanbul. It's weird weather.
Hmm. So you live over there?
Yeah, I'm teaching here, so um, I'm teaching in a British school. So um, I was going to say it's easy. It's kind of yeah, I'm living abroad, but it's quite. I suppose it's quite a privileged existence. It's I teach in English and I've got an apartment provided for me, and it's just I'm saying this, Vince, because sometimes I think, God, my life's so hard, and I think, it's not. It's really not.
Yeah. It's interesting you'd almost call it an alien society with
Mm.
different conventions, etc. And it does seem to give you the opportunity to be more aware of certain things of yourself, of how you respond. Eh? Do you find that?
So true, Vince. So true. And I think I still do it probably, but I know I went through a phase where I was like, I realized I was really kind of hypercritical of like, oh, this country, like, oh, you do it like that. And it's so funny. I heard somebody say the other day, like, this is a really minor thing, but in Turkey, you put the percent sign before the number. So it's percent, 50 or something.
Mm.
And this teacher was saying, why do you do it the wrong way round? Why do you do that wrong? And I was going, it's not wrong, it's just different. It's how they say it. But then I've caught myself kind of saying, oh, they do this wrong or that wrong. And the one thing I've really noticed, there's two things. Um, People don't necessarily smile at you in recognition. And it's just a cultural thing. And I'm
Mm.
like putting on my best false smile in the morning on the school bus. And I, good morning. And so, you miserable bastards, we want to smile.
Yeah.
Just, just allow people how they are. And the other thing they do, which is I think I'm getting into the habit of they really look at you sometimes. Like if I get on the metro, people have a good look, like up and down, which I don't think we do in the UK. I think if you're looking at someone, you're meant to do it kind of quite furtively,
Surreptitiously. Yeah.
surreptitiously. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
do it, but you don't make it obvious that you're kind of
Checking them out. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, you're so true, Vince. Those little, I don't know, customs, cultural things that
Yeah.
are
Yeah. Yeah. So how does it make you
different.
feel when you're looked at like that?
It's a really good question. At first, I was like, what the fuck? And I was kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
staring back.
Yeah.
Now I've just kind of gotten used to it. And I just kind of, yeah, I'm different.
It's okay. Yeah.
But I look different. I do. I look different to most people. Um,
But people do that.
Sometimes
There's people that don't look different. They still check each other out, don't they? It's just
yes,
that you
yeah,
don't
they
make it
do.
obvious in the West.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the true answer to your question, Vince, is I want to know, like, what are you, hey, why are you looking at me, and what do you think of what you see? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
know that you approve of what you see.
Approve was the word that I had in my head, Vince. Yeah. Do you approve? No, if you don't, how rude, but tell me.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to hear if they don't approve, do you?
No, actually, no, that would be pretty devastating, probably.
Yeah, if they started saying, "Oh, you got funny skin color," and "Oh, look at the color of your
Mm,
hair," and so on, you would have a
yeah,
reaction, wouldn't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And the other one another a really interesting one, which I don't know how I handle this now, but certainly at the start, um, being a gay man and being single and older, everybody wants to know where my wife is and where my family are, and it's just the automatic presumption that there's a wife. And I could call it homophobic, but I don't even think it doesn't even go, do you know what I mean? It's like just,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
your
It's not an
leisure.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it
And
a
at first,
legal issue in that country?
it's not. It's really interesting. There's no legislation at all about sexuality. There's been a republic here for 100 years, and Ataturk, who kind of founded the republic, just wanted a secular Islamic but secular state. And so there's no legislation kind of that you get in some other Muslim countries. They don't mix religion with the law. Um, but Erdogan, the current president, is trying to bring in some legislation that it's really woolly. It kind of just actually, I don't even know. I've looked at it a few times in a kind of a LGBT group that I'm in, but it it somehow outlaws homosexual acts, but
Hmm.
how you define them, and it's more a kind of a nod to the right wing base of, like, family values and stuff. And culturally, it's unlike Europe. There's no same-sex marriage, or it's not kind of, if I'd say, accepted, but it kind of is as well. There's a
It
few gay
exists. Yeah.
bars,
Yeah.
and there's like I go to an English-speaking LGBT group in nearby, which you would not have in lots of countries. So it's a
Yeah.
really interesting kind of mix and stuff.
It's
But
an
what's
incredibly old culture, isn't it? It's been around for
yeah,
thousands of
like
years. Yeah.
Muslim culture, and goes,
Yeah.
yeah, like you say, thousands and thousands. Um, but it's funny. I wonder myself. No, I can't tell you that story. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have. But I wonder, like, how much I self-censor myself, and and how uncomfortable I feel when I'm telling somebody that I'm gay, and that's really interesting for me.
Yep.
Because I self-censor, like I kind of just withdraw into, like, no, I'm not married.
Yeah. Well, anywhere outside of that LGBTQI community, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
if I
yeah.
said that right, it's the same thing anywhere over the world, isn't it? You know, like people would
Yeah, it
immediately ask
is.
you to justify yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And I kind of, I've never done the hi, I'm Declan, I'm teacher, I'm gay, or it's a
Well, it's a non-issue, really. It should be a
yeah, yeah,
non-issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. It's funny that the selfing of a gay person is no different to the selfing of a straight person.
Oh, I love that, Vince. Yeah. But it's funny, those layers of identity that, yeah, not quite sure what I'm trying to say there.
It sounds like it was going to be good.
No, I think there's another layer of there's an extra layer or a different layer of identity that can be so political. Listen, I'll tell you the story if that's okay. That I wasn't. If bear with me.
No
This
worries. Do you
actually.
want me to turn the camera off when you tell that story?
No, I'm fine. I'm just
Yeah.
going to. Yeah. It was when I first got here, and I met a guy who called dating apps, and they're just sex apps. Anyway, he came round and we had sex. And afterwards, because I'm British, I was in the kitchen making some tea and saying,
Cup of tea.
would you
Cup of
like a
tea.
cup of tea?
Yeah.
Would you like a cup of tea now? And I just remember I was making the tea, and his English wasn't great, but it was good. It was good enough. And he said to me, "So you're gay?" So
this
and
this
I
is
just
after
thought,
sex. Yeah. Yeah.
this is interesting. Like kind of, just said, yeah. We just. So I think I said to him, you're not gay or something, and he said, no, no. And he used a phrase that I've heard since. He said, I'm full active. I found out afterwards it kind of means that you're kind of married and with kids and whatnot, but you sometimes screw men, for want of a better phrase. And the really funny thing is, like that week and a few days later, I was like, oh God, will these people get over themselves and just, admit who they are and come out of the closet and whatever. And then something else kind of shifted in my head. And I just thought, what? That's an identity that I've built up over
Yes.
years of struggle, that you
Yeah.
have to proclaim your sexuality
Be
and
something.
make it
Yes. Yeah.
stand. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And who am I? Like, if that guy, identifies as full active, who am I to kind of, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm trying to say, that that's who he is, and you know,
So that propelled you into realizing that you had an identification as
yeah,
a thing,
yeah,
a gay person.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking like, what did that mean? What did it mean? And when I kind of looked at it, it was very shaky. It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, there's, you want to a more equal and just society, and I'll do my bit for that. But it almost said, well, what is a gay man? What does that, like,
Yeah.
you go into sex and I don't know, but even that, everything starts to kind of, well, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one. It's a
even like
relative.
what you
Yeah.
said, Vince, with LGBTQA, I kind of think we're pretty mixed up, is my belief
Yeah. Yeah.
on,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So would you imagine a heterosexual having sex? Would they have the thought that, oh, I'm a heterosexual? It wouldn't even occur to them, would it?
No, I don't think so. No, no. Would you label yourself as? I don't know, and what does the label mean anyway? And yeah,
So it's language thing too, but it does
yeah,
have some validity. It would be much more accurate to say I'm a human being and I
yeah.
behave in a way that's described as gay. And he would say
Mm,
sometimes, but he didn't like the label gay at all, did
mm.
he? So he wouldn't say
No, that's
I'm
yeah, that
sometimes gay.
obviously, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That was what's so interesting. It's like, no, I'm not that which which, yeah,
yes,
you
yes, yeah,
Westerners or Europeans, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So identification can be really sneaky, can't it? We can have all sorts of
Mm,
things, and with him there was an implication that of well, let's say disapproval about being gay. So there was a morality tied
So
up with that in his
yeah,
identification, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. And
But I don't know that, but that's what was interesting afterwards. I
seems,
just thought, well,
yeah, yeah,
he just, he was happy to have sex with a gay, but
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't, Yeah, 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 yeah,
I mean, he didn't
yeah.
use the term bisexual.
No, exactly, no. And
Mm.
yeah. Um, hmm, no, yeah, it's so interesting, Vince, because I was thinking, while we were talking, like, I'll feel some shame if I don't proclaim my sexuality when I think it's to correct someone, say, if they say,
Yeah,
do you have children or something, say, well, actually, I'm gay, I know gay men can have children, but, blah, 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 or where's your wife or whatever. Um, and I kind of think, like, where does that come from? But I know there's a part of me, a big part of me that just wants to belong, to be to be not to be different, to be in the tribe of whatever I think is. I mean, I suppose wanting people to like me. That's
yeah,
such
yeah,
a
yeah,
strong
yeah, yeah.
motivation, yeah. So I don't want to rock the boat, I don't want to kind of say, oh, I'm gay. I'd rather, part of me would rather kind of just keep quiet and just kind of,
Right. But
yeah.
you feel somehow that you should proclaim that you're gay
Yeah,
if that comes up. So
yeah,
there's a
there's
kind of
a,
an anti-shame kind of thing going on.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
So
think so.
this is not so much about your sexuality, but rather about who you are, your morals, your principles.
Mm.
Would you say? Would
I mean, this sounds pretty heady, but I think there's a truth in it. It's like that wanting to be authentic, like this is me, warts and all, we'll say, but also wanting to hide that, but
and
also wanting to.
how do you relate to the wanting to hide it part?
Um, I know what I mean is I think that desire to just kind of fit in and fade into the background and be
Be invisible.
be invisible or be the same as sorry, I feel like I'm hogging the conversation, but
No problems, no worries. People will relate or
thank
not.
you.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
Thank you.
No, this is, I
No,
mean, it's subtle stuff, isn't it? Some of this,
yeah, well, it's subtle and it's I think it relates directly, but I had a conversation with I call him my guide, Alan, about an hour ago, and I was saying to him that I feel anxious around people. Like before I talk to him or before coming on this call, there's always like a contraction, a kind of a oof of anxiety because I'm going to be around other people. I'm going to be with people. And I was saying when I was away last week, I was on my own for a few days and then met up with some friends. And though it was lovely to see the friends, it kind of worked. Like I kind of almost like hell is other people. Like something like there's something going on where I can feel this contraction when I'm around people. And he said, that's interesting. Let's look at that next week. And he asked me kind of series of questions about like, you know, just try and stay with it. Like, what's the sensation? Where is it? Does it have a color? How
Yeah.
big is it? And is it trying to tell me something? So I was thinking about this coming back home before coming on your call, and I don't know, I went straight back to school, to starting secondary school and being in an all boys school and being isolated. The thoughts, I mean, the word thoughts were, I feel anxious around other people because they have to like me. Or it's really important that people approve of me and like me. So why is that? Or where's that coming from? That's coming from I was really isolated and lonely around age 11. And
Mm.
it was terrifying and dark and horrible. But I got over that by, a few years later by having some friends and then that felt safe. That felt safe. I don't know if that makes sense, Vince, but that
It
was where
does,
I
very
was
much so.
before
So would
starting
you
with
say
that.
that that stuff is still in you?
I think so, Vince. Yeah, I think so. And I think it's tied up with sexuality and not being a proper boy and being different and, adolescence and all of that. But I think it's still there.
Mm. So being so whether you were actually different or whether you
Mm,
saw yourself as different makes no difference. But essentially it was that feeling of being different that caused the
mm.
isolation. Would you go as far as to say that isolation was rejection? Did others reject you?
It felt like that, Vince. Yeah, it felt like I didn't fit in, that whatever it was, looks or personality or whatever, that like I had a few friends and it felt like we were kind of misfits,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
say.
You belong to the League of Misfits. Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Except my League of Misfits was a League of One. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I keep saying I think and then getting annoyed with myself. But I mean, I was pretty judgmental of myself.
Mm.
Like I didn't feel like or look like kind of you're I'm just going to use words and just throw them,
Yeah, yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
fine. Yeah.
handsome rugby playing tough kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
uh head boy
yeah,
kind of thing
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, I get that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. um
Yeah, mine was I didn't have a square chin with a dimple like Superman.
yeah,
Yeah.
me neither. um and I could be totally wrong, but I think that there's some kind of a shadow there about needing approval
Okay,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
needing to
let me
belong.
tell you, it's not that thing, right? It's your
Mm,
relationship to that thing. It's how you hang on to it, what you believe about it. It's not the thing itself. Every one of us
mm,
went through a version of that. There's no child
mm,
can escape that kind of stuff. Everyone, even those
mm,
that you saw and looked like they were normal kids and they were okay, they still felt the same thing, probably. I don't know of anybody that doesn't, but that was then and this is now. But
mm,
but the then thing still has legs, if you like, because of how we hang on to it. And the problem is we keep it isolated. And when we keep it isolated, it never gets upgraded. So no matter how old we get, it stays at the age it was when it got embedded. And that's what we need to do is we need to recognize our relationship to that. So,
mm,
that's a good one. That's a really big one, that one. And in fact, all the
mm.
shadow work that might be there is falls along the same lines. There'll be stuff earlier than that likely, but that's
Yeah,
such a big one. That's shaped your life, and you can see
yeah,
that. You can see it quite clearly. But seeing
yeah.
it isn't enough. You got to see how you hang on to it. Because when you see
That's
it, it's in your. It's just a story in your head. How
yeah,
you hang
and
on to it, that's a feeling.
that's really fascinating, Vince, because as soon as I had that thought stream about adolescence, I thought, oh, come on, you've seen that before, you've done therapy, like,
Don't push it away.
that's
Yeah, yeah,
gone,
yeah.
like, come on. But I could feel it.
Mm,
I could feel something. I just thought, no,
yeah,
yeah. And I don't quite understand, but I'm going to sit with it of like what you mean by our relationship to it now, like why
yeah.
it's, yeah,
And you don't
yeah,
need to. In fact, even any attempt to understand it is just a
yeah,
way of pushing it away again, or keeping it in the head.
yeah.
So sitting with it and feeling it is where the value is for you. Absolutely. And that's what exactly what Alan was pointing to. If you get into the sensations, that's your portal into, and that's what that does is it invites the stories to come to light, and they'll only have to be seen to dissipate. There's no suppression. There's just dissipation when they're seen, because you're seeing them from an adult perspective, and you can see how the child had a really limited perspective about the circumstances. And the conclusion the child come to doesn't hold up from an adult perspective. It did from a child's perspective, but it doesn't now. You can see that everybody had their own trauma to deal with. It was your response to that back then that generated this stuff that got embedded in you.
Mhm.
I've done a meditation to with this stuff. Um, I'll put it in the chat in a minute, and there's a link to it. Or have you already seen it?
The childhood, the kind
Yes.
of go,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna have another listen. I listened to it about a week ago before bed. It was,
Right. Great.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. The emphasis is on that feeling, the connection, the
Mm.
emotional feeling is the is where the change happens. Yeah. But if it didn't resonate for you, don't worry about it. It's potentially helpful, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, you've certainly got some stuff to go on with there.
Can I just say this as well, Vince? Because it just struck me when you said that then, when you said, all of us have had that trauma, or we've all been through that. And it's so strange because when you said it, I kind of felt that. I just thought, yeah, it's the human condition, growing up, and people have all sorts of different lives. But I don't know as an adult, I don't know whether I don't know. I think it's almost like a judgy part of me judging my 11-year-old self and saying, yeah, you are a bit different, you're a bit weird, and I'm kind of maybe still saying that to myself. It just struck me when you said it. I just thought, oh, why didn't I think that? You know, like there is
Mm.
yeah. But anyway, I'll sit
Yeah,
with it.
don't dismiss it though. That's valuable
Mm,
stuff when you get a hold of
mm,
those kind of feelings. That's really valuable stuff.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Thank you.
Any,
mm,
it's a trick here. Any kind of judgment, any opinion about anything
mm,
is a judgment, and any kind of judgment is an escape from something.
mm,
And most of what we want to escape from are feelings that are unpleasant. They could be feelings of fear, shame, guilt, well, you name it. Anything of those negative things
mm.
can be there. Yeah. And then you can ask yourself, I wonder what it'll feel like when I don't have any judgments about myself. Oh, that was a big one, wasn't it?
That's bringing me close to tears. Yeah, yeah.
And acceptance is like that. Self-acceptance is like that. It is a tearful thing, but it's tears of joy, it's tears of release. It's impossible to describe, but there is wonderful beauty, like sweetness. I like that word in that those tears of acceptance. It's just a oh, what a relief! Oh, isn't it amazing? And my whole body's vibrating now when I think of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Declan's okay. Fuck, how's that? Yeah.
Uh, I'm probably escaping this with humor, but there's another tiny part that's going, yeah, I'm better than okay. I'm more than just, just to drop that judgment is it's so powerful. Thank you.
But then don't get into the trap of saying, "Oh, well, that's bad. I've got to drop that." If it's there, it's
Mm,
there, whatever it
mm,
is. So when you have an
mm,
opinion, when you have a judgment, it's not
mm.
about the judgment. When you know that you've got it having a judgment, you recognize it. That's the key. The
Yeah,
recognition, not the judgment. And
yeah,
if you're having a judgment and you don't recognize it, you don't know that
mm,
you're having a judgment.
yeah,
Something might tell you, like an unpleasant feeling,
mm,
or a thought might pop up that said, "Oh, hang on, you're having a judgment." Then
yeah,
the trick there is not to go immediately into that's wrong, because there you are,
mm,
there you're just judging the judgment.
yeah,
Right? The trick then is to go, "Oh, okay, that's there, isn't that interesting? What does it feel like?
yeah,
Where am I feeling it? Oh,
yeah, yeah. Mm.
how does it feel when you think about how Alan accepts you, doesn't judge at all?"
That question went right through me, Vince. I don't know. I feel a bit embarrassed because he's not here, but it feels almost overwhelming. It feels like I have to do something back and that it makes me uncomfortable. I think that's yeah, it feels uncomfortable.
Yet I rather imagine that you wouldn't it wouldn't take much looking to realise that his acceptance is unconditional.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about really my experience with Alan. He's just one of
yeah,
those lovely people, right?
it just
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And you would never
yeah,
feel judged by him. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And so even
Yeah,
though it's unconditional, you feel like you've got to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would almost like be more comfortable for me if I was paying, or I could have
Exactly,
some.
exactly. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
it's not paying for it
yeah,
with money necessarily, but paying for it
yeah,
with some return. Yeah, and
yeah,
it's because you're just going to fall apart when you accept that acceptance. You have to accept that. That'll happen. You will break down, and it will be a flood of release, and it will just be so overwhelmingly beautiful that it'll be unbearable almost. That's what you're escaping from. That's why you feel like you've got to do that. Right? It's amazing, isn't it? It's such a good feeling, can feel uncomfortable.
yeah. I can kind of feel a hint of what that would be like, and it is. It's kind of it's too much. It's like,
Mm.
yeah.
So when that happens, that will be an opportunity for you to appreciate that you are the experience. There is no you having an experience. The experience itself is what you are. That's what it is always anyway. But in the middle of that experience, if that comes to you, that's what it will be. You will just be that experience, not a person
Mm.
experiencing it, not something experienced, not in relation to anything else. The whole world will be that experience. I hope that's not too woo-wooish for you, but
No, it's beautiful when I can kind of get
yeah, that's where you
into
see
it.
the separation between the
Yeah, that it's
concept
not
of
about me
self and
being
the
accepted,
actuality.
and yeah, it's not my story that's been accepted on my thing. It's just the
It just
experience.
is. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
It's almost the last bastion of identification where we go, there has to be somebody to have the experience. Oh, hang on, there doesn't. There is just the experiencing.
Mm.
The somebody having it is a thought.
Yeah, it's kind of I can't get that right now, but it's that's grand.
You
It's
won't
just
you won't get it in
yeah,
your head. That's not something
yeah,
you can
yeah, yeah,
get
yeah,
there, yeah.
yeah,
But you will
yeah,
experience it. That's why I'm telling you
yeah.
about it. It's a
Thank
seed
you.
that's planted, you know. You will
Yeah,
recognize it. Because of this conversation, it's very
yeah.
likely the thought will pop up in the middle of an experience of any kind of experience, which is all there is, so it's all the time.
Mm,
But regardless, it'll be a peak experience the first time, most likely, and you'll suddenly realise that you are the experience. That's it. And even to say you are is wrong. There is only the
mm,
experience. Yeah.
mm.
And then you just
It
go,
sounds really
wow.
freeing and really liberating. It's
Oh, it's psychedelic. It's wonderful. Yeah.
you know, yeah. Mm,
And it is liberating because it breaks that
mm.
last thread of identification. Although they might sneak back in, but that they don't have any strength after that. Mm. How's life been for you, Jed?
Quite a lot of triggering this last week. My although my sleep's been really good, and I've been applying some of the stuff you've been talking about, and for the first time in years, I've been sleeping without having to listen to an audio book to kind of distract my mind. I've been able to just kind of stay with the body and drift off to sleep, which has been nice. But in the daytime, I've been super, don't know, just anxious, just feeling stressed. My girlfriend's away at the moment, and I think sometimes when I'm on my own more, I don't know, I've got a story about that, you know, something there's some kind of deep human need to be feel safe when there's other people around, and when they're not, some kind of some anxiety gradually builds up or something. But obviously that's not always the case, so I don't know that that's the truth.
Hmm. Do you think you use being around other people as a way of escaping Jed?
I mean, not consciously, but I think I've just. I mean, it depends on the person, of course, but I feel like when I'm with other people, I've got. I don't know quite what it is. When I'm on my own and I'm just trying to deal with the daily tasks, whether it's work, I work from home in some ways, or just the admin or the housework or whatever it is. I don't know. I just feel a build-up of like stress that sometimes, yeah, I mean, it sometimes happens, sometimes it doesn't, but more than not, it does happen.
Hmm. It's an
Although
interesting one, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
camera's playing up. It's being a bit. I don't. You're not maybe not seeing it, but it's you. Every time you speak, your camera goes crazy. Flick, flick, flick. Is
how
it?
does
Have you
it?
got an external webcam or something?
No, I haven't. No,
Oh, it's odd. Yeah. Anyway, don't matter. We can put up with it.
is it just
I
this
don't see
time? Is it
that.
just today?
You don't see that. Only I'm seeing that, eh? Oh, okay. I don't know what I can do about it. Yeah. Sometimes it's like I'm seeing the edge of your cameras, like this. I'm seeing part of you that's off to the side, like a duplicate bit. And
Hmm.
anyway, it don't matter. Just don't worry about it. Uh, yeah. So I, I get that there's um, something has changed in terms of your ability now to, well, your ability, about that you are sleeping differently, going off to sleep differently. Are you feeling different in the morning when you wake up as well?
Not noticeably, not anything.
No. Okay. You just notice that you don't need to be listening to an audiobook in order to go to sleep.
Yeah, the first night it kind of changed. I couldn't get to sleep listening to the audiobook, and then finally I just had this sense that I just need to switch it off, and then I drifted off, and and then the next night I was like, oh, I'll try that again, and like I have naps during the day as well, and the same, and yeah, I mean it feels much more peaceful. It feels like feels good. It feels like I'm not kind of overstimulating my brain.
Can you? isolate anything that might have changed?
That's helped me get to sleep differently.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's um, staying with the feelings in the body. And I mean, that first night, I think what changed was me thinking, like I had a lot on the next day, and so that, puts pressure on the getting to sleep. And then at some point, I just had the thought, "Ah, it's fine. I'll cope whatever. However much sleep I get, I'll cope. It'll be fine." And so you know, obviously that helps. And so I'm kind of practicing staying with the feelings and not going into the stories. And yeah, I think that's quite significant. Not trying to understand or get rid of, but just being with them and seeing if any insight pops in, and if it doesn't, just
Yeah,
stay in
yeah,
there.
yeah, great, yeah. So, I mean, logically speaking, that frees up an awful lot of worry and stress and energy to not do those things, eh?
Yeah.
And so presumably your body's a lot more relaxed, and whatever the body does in terms of producing melatonin or whatever happened. Yeah, so well, great. That's
Yeah. So when I'm just
change.
not doing anything else and I'm just trying to sleep, I can do that, folk just being with my body. But when I've got other stuff that I'm trying to do, it's like my mind is in, more active, planning, worrying if I'll get everything done, and I just can't stay present. I think that's basically what it
Hmm.
is.
So if I ask you this, just coming out of left field, I have no idea where the idea to ask this came from, but just tell me what your response is. Do you think your relationship with yourself has changed?
Um,
Don't overthink it. I really want
yeah,
what
I
the
don't.
first thing that comes up. Yeah.
No thoughts popped in at all, but I just had a sense of a bit more acceptance or something,
Right.
a bit
Okay.
more
So
ease.
that's yeah. See, so the thing is, you don't notice that if we don't grab a hold of it and make a big deal out of it. That bit more of acceptance is a huge thing. It's not a little thing at all. And even though you might say, "Oh, it's only a bit more," it's something's happened, hasn't it? It's a break.
Mhm.
Something's let go. Something's loosened. Whatever that is. Yeah. I just love it is what it is, what it is. And there is no escape from that, no matter what we think, no matter what we want, no matter what we do, there is no escaping that. It is what it is, what it is. And that kind of invites the overlay of acceptance to what has to be accepted anyway.
Mhm.
It's a good one. Changes everything. It changes the whole world. Yeah.
Jed, do you see that when you practice allowing sensations to be there and not distracting with stories, you're essentially allowing more of yourself to be as it is?
Yeah.
And when you allow yourself to be more as you are, there's also more room for the old stuff to come up and be processed. So
Mhm.
if you've held on to a lot of anxiety and are now starting to actually, make space for whatever you're feeling, it's natural that stuff will come up. And, as Vince was pointing out to Declan earlier, is, there isn't really a who here. There isn't someone here. There is experience. And a part of that experience is sensations, is emotions, is feelings. So the more we can say yes to that part of ourselves, the more room there's going to be to welcome all parts of ourselves, not only the so-called pleasurable ones.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of trying to figure out, why is it here, or what can I do about it to not feel this way? I'm not saying that you are, but it's tempting to go there. Try to welcome it as part of the whole experience of being you.
Yeah.
Or of being.
Yeah.
And something that Marius touched on there that's really important, that for everybody, and that is that because we've changed, and you could say, oh, we've removed a few filters, other stuff is more likely to come up. And the old way of looking at it was, oh shit, I've lost that, I've gone backwards. Well, it ain't so. It's that we allow, the more we remove, the more free we are, the more inclined those things are to come up and be seen and dissipate, and then they're gone. And that makes room for other stuff to come up. So we'll go from feeling great to feeling a bit shitty, to feeling great to feeling shitty, to feeling great to feeling shitty, and it'll just get further and further and further apart. And then but then when the shitty stuff comes up at some point, you'll realise that it's not shitty at all. It's just an opportunity. But it's a big one, because so many people say, oh, I had it and I lost it. I went backwards. Not possible. Can't happen. It's always forward.
I would say it's not even forward. It's not even backwards or forward. It's just what is coming in this moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have this bias against, or for pleasure and against pain or uncomfortableness. So we see life through that lens of not welcoming life as a whole, but all emotions, all sensation, all thoughts, all experience actually has as much as right as any other experience or sensation or whatever to be here. So if we can try to turn every no into a yes more and more in life, the more we free ourselves. If we can say yes to everything, we're totally free. It's only when we resist what is happening that it's a problem.
Yeah. That seems really difficult to do. But I can also see the value in it, and kind of can't wait to go and give it a try next time.
every time we resist something or not fully embrace the experience, it's like we're taking a piece of that experience and plant it in our garden. And the next time a similar situation comes up, that seed that we just planted sprouts up and we get triggered. So instead of creating all these triggers, just take the opportunity to fully feel it, to fully experience whatever you're experiencing. And if you can't, that's okay also, because you'll have an opportunity the next time you get triggered to fully experience it again.
What are you experiencing, Scott?
I'm I'm in I'm seeing let me start from the beginning. I try not to be too confusing. yesterday I'm doing some busy work early in the morning, and I was running this video, one of Angelo's videos from years ago that I never saw before, just for background noise. And in there, he described something. I can't remember what he called it, but I said it's part of the mechanism of identification where there is an assumption that whatever condition is present at the current moment is not right and needs to be changed. And it like rung a bell with me because I've kind of, as I've kind of started this path a while back, I've been aware of like a kind of negativity that's kind of interwoven into my existence. And I've been aware of it, but I just really didn't know what it was or what to do with it. Right. So that was just in my head. And so I started talking to your bot about something totally unrelated. My life during my life, substance abuse has been, you know, prominent, and a lot of it has fallen away, but occasionally, like, I'll still drink. And recently, I drank. I've been drinking more than I normally would. Like what I normally do. Like I don't drink like a normal person. I'll take 2 or 3 really heavy drinks and knock myself out. And I just couldn't understand, like, what is it? Is the attraction? Because I couldn't really figure what is the attraction. And I started getting this feeling that, like, it's just wanting to relinquish control. Even though I know I don't have control, I have this feeling like I want to relinquish control. So I started asking the bot about this, and the stuff that came back just like is blowing my mind. And so,
So hang on, just before you ask the bot, you already had the idea that you were drinking yourself to oblivion as a way of letting go of
yeah.
control. Yeah, got it. Okay, go on.
So, I'm sorry. It's hard to pull everything together because it's still slippery. But so I started asking the bot about it, and I'm going to try to encapsulate it. So I started. I realized it said, yes, you're trying to manage. That's what it was. You're trying to manage reality. It's long. I don't want to go back and read it, but I would love to send it to you because I would love to hear
Yeah,
what you
you're
think.
welcome. Yep.
Uh, um, but so it said, it's the core belief. You have this core belief that you need to manage reality, and then that connected with what Angelo said. I realized that, like, there's this whole nother level that my brain is doing that I barely am aware of. It's all intertwined in everything I do. It has to do with seeking, and so my day to day, like, I hide it. It's so close, I can't see it a lot of times. So
Yeah.
yes,
But the
so
Angelo
yesterday,
thing, the Angelo thing took you to a recognition, check me if I'm right, a recognition that there was a fundamental assumption that there's something wrong with this.
exactly.
Yeah,
That,
okay.
like, each
Yeah, so you
moment,
saw that. You
any
saw that. That's a big thing I want to make a big deal of. You saw that. You recognize that.
yeah, because it matches. It kind of connected with something that I saw, but it didn't know what it was, or I didn't know what to do with it. And so we have a sitting room, right? So this sounds stupid because I've meditated a bunch of times, and it seems like the same thing, but it's not. Like, when I used to go in to meditate, I was going to meditate. So this time I just went in the room and I sat there and I decided I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here. And it just became completely obvious that every single time I'm lost in thought, like I started waking up immediately, and I'm seeing every single time in some way I was trying to manage reality. Whether I was trying to figure out a possible conversation coming down the road, trying to figure out something that happened before, whatever it was. It's like I used to think like I used to get pissed off when I was lost in thought because I was like, I never really just okay, there you go, just thinking again. But now it's like I can't even think of a time when I woke up, I was lost in thought and I woke up and I wasn't managing reality. It's almost as if that's all there is when I'm lost in thought. So I just, uh, I just kept being aware of it. It just kept waking up in the middle of like one right after another. It's like, and then like it gets even more confusing because it's nested within each other. It's like when you start to like look at it and then you realize, oh no, I'm managing the way I'm managing reality. You know what I mean? It's like um anyway, it seems super promising, although extremely slippery and a little convoluted. And the bot was like so instrumental in bringing that on. Just for it, it's anyway. That's where I am.
Okay, so what about, and this is the crux of it, what about then what turned up that said, I shouldn't do that? Did that happen?
Shouldn't try to manage reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you the bot whole thing is fairly long, but if you had read it, like if you had already read it, you would see what I'm saying. I'm trying to bring it back, but like it basically, yeah, you have a belief that you need to manage reality, and it's like obviously it's impossible to manage reality because reality is just reality, and you know it's obvious since you can't manage it, you don't have to manage it. Yet the brain has been doing it for 60
So
some
long, yeah.
years.
Now, how about
And
this? What about it if we flip it back on itself and say, you are creating the reality that you have to manage? So you are managing it. And then you think you've got to manage what you managed to create. And so it becomes circular.
that shit's way too confusing, dude.
It wasn't for me. Yeah, okay, I get it.
I can't handle too many nests. Not
Yeah,
enough brain cells left.
yeah. Let it sink in. You'll get it. You'll get it. Yeah,
I know. Cognitively, I kind of know what you're saying, but it still
yeah.
feels.
I mean, when you've got to manage reality, you're creating the reality that you've got to manage by trying to manage it.
but just experience creates it, right? Yeah. Anyway, very overwhelming, but at the same time, very promising. Like I hate to say
Yeah. It sounds
promising
great. I love it. Yeah.
about the future, but like um, it feels like a crack.
Yep. Yeah. That's a big one. I mean, you just revealed a fundamental something that your life has been resting on forever and ever.
It seems like you look at stuff from all the different directions that the community shows you, and it seems like at first it seems like you're out here, you're out here, you're out here, and they're all kind of pointing in the same direction. And now it seems like they're getting closer and closer and closer, and everything points exactly in the same direction. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. I love the energy in it.
I'm gonna send that
Yeah,
chat
do that. Yeah, be interested in that
to
one.
you.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow we could you could just I mean I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
Oh, shut up.
if you could just look at it, and if something comes up, just let me know, either text or
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean.
we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it now
Yeah.
so I don't forget.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Try to manage reality again. Thank you.
How's life been for you, Jackie? You're muted.
I'm all over the place, Vince. And listening even to this, I'm feeling so full of identity. Although the bots told me all week that I'm at the edge and, I've got it, I feel like it's either a mind loop or the opposite. And I feel like I'm bypassing something because of, I think Marius said something that got to me too, is that I think I've spent so much time making sure to get through it and resolve it and to really sit with it. And it's sort of confusing. It's all confusing. And I feel like a vulnerability even saying this. I feel like last week I felt free in one section, but I think I was also jumping the gun because I didn't want to go down the feeling so revolting at times, or feeling like confused. But the other part it seems to be that whenever if I feel tired, or I feel if a tiredness comes onto me, I can just look at it and see that that's because I'm believing in that thought, and the tiredness event, it just immediately goes. So it's like, I feel like I'm watching or doing both sides.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's confusing, but that's a bit like how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I've seen the story, and as you said last week, like there's stories, hanging off other stories, and I think it came through like the rejection, embarrassment story, um, um, and actually really sitting in it is really hard. Just to really sit in it, I think I can meditate easily, and I can change, move it. I can move quickly into a piece, but I might, I feel like I must be avoiding something.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I've resonated heaps with what everybody said, really.
So that what comes to mind is that the the juice there in what you say is that judgment you have of
Yeah,
that's not good, being confused, being this way, that way, not whatever, that's all seen to be something wrong. And that's where the juice is for you, because
yeah,
that's what life is showing you at the moment. And it's wanting you to make sense of it, not with thoughts as such, but it's wanting you to feel at home with it. And when that happens, stuff will get revealed and the confusion won't be confusing anymore, or at least in a different way. But yeah, so that's
it's
just
like
the
I
portal.
can't land anywhere. Yeah, I feel like I'm just hanging, sort of.
Mm,
And there's no place to really grab anymore.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and it is very uncomfortable.
Yep. Yeah. Is it possible that hanging could become comfortable? Or is it possible that the discomfort can be okay? I guess in which case it wouldn't be discomfort anymore, would it?
Yeah, I think this one of the prime spots what you're saying, and I got that a week ago, and through my dialogue with my friend that's in the same country in Vietnam is yeah, it's really like being if I can be uncomfortable. But I think what it came to is if like to be, can I be comfortable or uncomfortable at that place that you never get it? That's what it feels like, that I'll never get it, that I'll
Mm.
never get um, to that spot.
But you're in that spot.
Whatever that spot is.
You're already in that spot, but something says I'm looking
I
for
know,
a different spot.
I know I am. Yeah, because I don't like this spot.
Mm.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not happy with it at all.
Well, what about,
It's not just
well,
I'm
you're going
not
to be
happy.
stuck
Yeah,
with it until you
it
do like it.
brings up a lot of, eh? Um, but I can't just like it either. Yes, I've just got to sit with it, I suppose. Because you're saying that I've got to and I know not saying it, but suggesting um, it's really that's the other word, the allowing, like really
Yeah, yeah,
allowing this
yeah,
and not trying to slightly divert it or move it here or there or um,
yeah. So
it's even made,
instead of saying I want to like it, what if you said
yeah,
it is what it is and I can't escape it, so I might as well like it and see what happens?
yeah. I think I need that, like to stay with that mantra and sort of I do that for a moment and then I'm on to another space, then I'll
Slippery mind does that.
oh,
Yeah,
the mind's been having lots of fun in between. Yeah. It's been all over the place, like a snake,
yep,
um, really, really, really convoluted. It's like, yeah, anytime that I sort of half get it or it's okay and of even accepting it, it switches again and again.
yeah.
And it's
It's
not just
yeah,
It's not just from the head, like I'm feeling it in the body all the time,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
even jumping here and there, and
yeah.
even when I with my friend to talk about it, because she asked me to tell her how I felt, because she told me how she felt. But a part of me didn't want to even go there because I knew it was, it sort of felt like, but I did it anyway, but it felt like, it's like a game nearly, not intentionally, but while
Yeah.
I keep on doing that, like staying in that emotion, I've done the feelings, emotions, but I've done it. I've just done it to death nearly. You know about all the stories back in Australia, and the home visitors and all that type of thing. It's like
Hmm.
I've really done the stories. I'm sick of it. But this seems like another little story that pretending not to be a story or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Jackie?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what I'm hearing or what sticks out to me is you're saying you're looking for a spot that kind of indicates that like you're getting somewhere. Like there's a destination. But what if
yeah,
there isn't a spot? What if it's constantly changing and moving all the time? And accepting that is the spot.
yeah. Um, like that's life, isn't it? Really, it's coming in and out, and um, just accepting it. But I can accept it, Marius, but then it changes again. Like I have accepted it, but then it moves again.
Yeah, so you're
Um,
you're grasping onto a point
it's
of
like,
acceptance,
yeah,
but there's nothing to grasp onto.
no, there's nothing to grasp onto. So I'm also, one of my main words I'm trying to keep with myself is just allowing that, even if it's, even when I grasp, and then if I can see that, then it'll, just by seeing it, it seems like it's like doing its own thing, and it's like I'm a witness, and sometimes I'm the witness, and sometimes I'm the censor of it. Um, yeah, it feels like it's like two plays happening.
So if we are going to construct a story to kind of please the mind for a moment, we could say that this is life unfolding and teaching your system by showing you again and again and again and again that there is actually nothing to hold on to, that everything just needs to be accepted, and giving you the same lesson over and over and again from different points of views,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that in the end there will be acceptance and there's nothing you're doing or not doing, it's just being shown.
yeah, yeah. Because I've seen, like, I think, okay, I'm going to sit and really feel it, and then the next moment or soon after it, it's probably better just to go for a walk and not um, get obsessive about it. Like not to let it's like the mind loop happening. Um, it's actually intense at the moment. It's got really intense today, like this morning, but sitting in meditation, I felt really, really easy, really good. So it's really
when
yeah,
something you said that
it's like control of, yeah. Sorry, Vince.
okay, I was going to say something you said tweaked my ears, and that was that the oxymoron when you said you were going to try and allow. How do you do
Did I say that?
allowing? How do you
Did I
make allowing
say trying
happen?
to allow?
Yeah.
How do I make allowing happening? By doing nothing.
Well, doing nothing? How can you do nothing?
Okay, just nothing. Nothing.
Right. It
Nothing,
has
yeah.
to happen, doesn't it? It's just a happening. It's not a doing.
Yeah.
Right. So when you
Yeah.
meditate, you're doing meditation, which is kind of a version of
Yes.
trying to do nothing, isn't it?
Yeah. So
But you can fool
med-
yourself into think you're doing it when
do
the
you think I should
reality is
stop
it's happening.
meditating?
No, 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 I'm not saying that. I'm
Because
saying the idea of doing meditating. Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so you can fool yourself with meditating. You can say, well, I'm going to go and do nothing. And I'll call it meditation. Right? And so there is the intention, and there is this belief that you can control things and that you can do nothing. But when it comes to allowing things to happen, all that falls apart because you can't do allowing.
Mm-mm.
Allowing has to be allowed, doesn't it?
Mm.
Now, that means that it's totally out of your control. It
Yes.
happens or it doesn't happen, full stop. You can intend it, you can want it, but whether it happens or not is totally out of your control. So you might as well just give up and, well, guess what? Then it'll happen.
But how do you give up? Like I think I try to give not try. I give up.
No, you don't. You only think you
Um,
do.
I know that because that's the thinker part of me.
Mm. And that rests on a belief that is a
Oh,
delusion. Yeah,
so it's probably that's the thinker part. So it's really it is being in the nothing, just really just feeling, just sensing, isn't it? Really,
yep.
for as long as it needs to, and if it's forever, that's it too.
It just happens. That's right. It decides itself, seemingly.
Yeah, I think I had sort of some subtle unconscious like time, designation, to arrive at, so I could get on with life again. But this is life.
That's right. Yes. That's a big one.
Yeah, time.
Just want to add that even the thinking and intending is not anyone doing. That is also just happening. So if an intention comes up, it's not like you're going back into the intention box and picking out an intention. It arrives and indicates possible unfolding, but there's no doing in that. Even when you're lost in thought, that is also just happening. It's nobody's wrongdoing or right doing. It's just what is happening.
very confusing, isn't it? I've always prided
Because
on clarity. This is confusing, very confusing.
it is very confusing, and the only conclusion we can make that would be rational would be to surrender.
To confusion.
Yep.
Yeah. I can feel that when you say, it nearly brings like the little girl, the vulnerability. I think the behaviour started very early in this life, I think. To manage life by shutting down the vulnerability.
Getting in contact with that vulnerability is beautiful, and it's inherent in all of us because we are all helpless in some sense if we identify with the self.
Yeah.
There's always going to be uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just helpless, isn't it? It's just in helplessness now.
So that is from the perspective of a self. But from the
Yes.
perspective of life, you are basically creating your own reality. You want every experience, whether it's so-called good or bad. Life doesn't have judgments like that.
Yeah.
From the perspective of life, there's no such thing as helplessness.
No. Well,
Because when you think about it, helplessness is about something. And life doesn't juggle things. It just is.
Yes, that's something that you said, Vince, that just came to mind. You said this earlier to somebody, maybe Declan, the first person. And that touched me, was the relationship to yourself. That seemed to be very strong. Like, I think this is like starting to have a relationship with myself. Even though I am no self, I can go to that very easily, to the no self, but having a relationship with the self, I've always gone out to others to get that. And I feel this is important too now.
Mm. Yep. That sounds like your intuition telling you there's juice there.
Yes, I just remembered that. But that, yeah, that's the very hard part, just to be with this one. And yeah, I suppose it's the judging of this one, and being aware of that too, or allowing it as well. See how I'm going around again? I feel like I go round and round.
Well, it might feel like
But
that, but it's not a circle, it's a spiral.
yeah,
And we come back and visit again, but when we visited the second time, we've got more understanding than we had the first time, so it's different. And it accumulates, and eventually it
yeah,
fly off and leave it behind.
yeah.
So it's so hard to get this one across to people because it's something you have to experience, and it seems a bit tricky to experience it, and that is that it nothing can be wrong. Whatever it is you're experiencing is exactly where you need to be.
Yeah,
And it's this. And not only is it okay, but it's great. It actually is an opportunity for you. That confusion is an opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity. Whatever you're experiencing is exactly where you need to be. Can't be anything wrong. Not possible to be anything wrong because wrong doesn't exist.
because it's basically also, yeah, really experiencing just this total discomfort.
Yeah. Well, if that's what it is, yes. But I mean, how ridiculous is it to say, I've got to stop this life so I can experience life?
Yeah,
Or I've got to
yeah.
go into a different
Crazy.
life to experience life because I don't like this life.
Well, that's the interesting thing. That's what I've seen, is that, I can go off, with the hurries or the meditation, and both of them I can immediately transcend and feel bliss.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm getting to, like how crazy is that I have to do that. But then I've had
Well,
this judgment of the mundane of this now,
mm,
not
yeah.
mundane, whatever the word is. Oh, but I suppose it's the now, really,
Hmm.
because the other things is like a transcend. I'm not. I
Well,
don't feel them.
well, it's let's look at it. It's not, you can put a story on it that says, oh, it's transcendence. I'm accepting, uh, I'm I'm changing something, and it's a wonderful place, but I want it in everyday life. Great story.
Yeah,
But the fact that you can do something to bring that on is fantastic. But you're not, when you really look at it, you're not doing anything to bring it on. You just know that it will happen under those circumstances. So it seems like you're doing it. So if you could know that it can happen now, it would happen. Isn't it crazy that you can't kind of do it as easy as you could do it, like if you were to go and meditate?
yeah, that's right. Isn't that crazy?
Mm.
Because I must have some belief or something
Yep.
there,
And that
but I
belief is
can't.
that belief is life as I'm experiencing it now is not what I want. I want a different life. But how is it possible for their life to be different? That's as stupid as people saying, "Oh, I want to be able to live in the now."
Yeah,
How can you not live in the now?
I get this. This is so, that's right. Even with myself and my friend, I feel we both got the same issue here. We want a different life. And even doing all this inquiry, I think there was a little aim there too to get a different life.
Absolutely.
There was something there. Yeah.
But isn't it ironic that by accepting this life, you'll get a different life? But chasing a different life, you'll never get it.
Yeah. And I have seen it, like in the last week too, moments just of, oh, this is it. And it felt very,
Yep.
just
Beautiful.
it.
Yep.
But then it all,
Right. Now, what did I say
yeah,
before? You're saying, oh, then it went away. I had it and I lost it.
yeah.
Right. When you had it, that was just the opportunity for other stuff to come up. And it will keep
And
happening
it definitely
until you
has.
wear it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember the particular lovely moment when I just saw how there was no problem. It was just it. And just, well, I think I followed one thought and just, it
Okay.
was just, yeah, yeah. And then
Yep.
this has all come after. Yeah,
And when you had that experience, that changed you.
yeah,
Kind of makes it a little bit more poignant, doesn't it? Because you go, oh, I want that again. I want that. I want that. So you start
yeah.
chasing the dog again.
And I forgot about it actually until right now with you, like that had
Yes.
happened. It's not that, yeah. And I've been, I got back onto that, yeah, chasing the tail
Yeah.
or the dangling carrot or something. Yeah, yeah. Because
So
it's been
the thing that happens is that we don't tend to put those things in memory because we're in the now so completely in direct experience that the mental process required to form a memory doesn't happen. But it did. But I mean, it's not like a normal memory,
yeah.
And so now you realise that you had it, and that changed you. So you know it's
I
possible.
think it changed me, and I feel like it changed. Is it possible, like the relationship with my friend too? Because our friendship, I think, was made on our problems. This particular
Hmm.
friend,
Yep, yep,
on discussing that, on being in that,
yeah. But don't
on
don't chase that stuff too much because you're never going to be able to understand it intellectually completely, right? Because it's not an
understand
intellectual
what,
experience.
yeah.
So embrace the mystery, embrace the not knowing that will come with that as well.
Well, I feel like I have been in the unknown for quite a while on it, like this just seems like the latest.
Yep.
But having that experience the other day where it was just so simple, yeah, that was
Mm.
different, or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a crazy one.
yeah.
It's
I'll just
it's emptiness that's full, or fullness that's empty, or whatever. You can't put words to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you see
yeah.
that clarity, so to speak, is a thought about clarity?
Yeah.
So that
I think yeah, I do.
you never lose it. It's just about what current thought is in your current experience. So feeling like
Think-
clinging on to this clarity is thoughts about clinging on to this clarity. It's like if there is if there is clinging to something at all in a world or in an experience that is always changing, you're setting yourself up for suffering.
Yeah. Uh, so, um, so the whole concept of clarity you're saying is can be a suffering trap. Are you saying that?
An attachment to what you call clarity.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, even my company was called a crystal clear. Everything has been around that actually, clarity. But this confusion now I'm finding interesting in itself. Like curious about this now.
Oh, that's great. Curious about
Mm,
everything that is happening now is
confusion.
a wonderful place to be, so to speak.
Well, now after our dialogue, it's with you two. Yeah, I do feel more curious than just suffering.
I think many of us, or perhaps all of us on this path, so to speak, is started out with a delusion of awakening or enlightenment, meaning that we are always abiding in this clarity. And if we hold on to that as a belief,
Yeah,
then everything else is going to be wrong.
yeah. Well, I can let go. Anyway, that's let go of now. If it's there, it's there, and I've let go of the clarity concept. I think without making a big deal about it, like just seeing it, seeing it. That's been really interesting. Seeing, because I've also had a lot of blind people around me physically at the moment. I always seem to. It seems like they've been knocking on my door or something, like knocking, because they seem to be seeing more than myself. Because I also think about the whole thing like it's all happening in our mind anyway, this whole show and this group and is
Our
that too
and
much?
mind is also just concepts. It's
Our
just
mind,
mind and our is not really what is. There is no our, there is no plurality here, and there is no mind. There is just experience.
yeah. But I seem to be separated from that, from the experience. I'm watching the experience, but actually to be the experience, um,
But that is because you assume that you are in a body looking out at experience. You've
Yeah,
never really questioned that. You always, we've
I
learned,
try to.
yeah. So
I try to.
try to turn it on its head, so to speak. What if everything that you can see right now, everything that you can hear, touch, taste, that everything, including your body, but not, you're not in your body, you're just the experience that is you. That you're you're in a room now, I can see. So looking out, you can kind of imagine as an experience that this room, everything that's in your current experience of awareness, that is you, not
Mm,
not you inside a body looking out of a separate experience. And that nothing outside of your current awareness exists. That there is a separate objective world outside of your current awareness is just an assumption.
yeah. I get it, but I don't get it. Like maybe I just have to sit with that for longer, like that.
It's seed planted, like Vince likes
Yeah,
to say.
yeah. Well, yeah, that needs to be watered a lot,
But
not
playing
the
with
other
that
stuff, I think.
as an experience, not, you know, not always assuming the perspective of being a separate self looking outside of the world, but actually trying on the perspective of this assumption of being a human in a human body, but exploring the possibility of you being the visual field, you're being the sensual experience rather than um this
Mm,
old perspective that you've kind of lived your life from.
yeah.
Play with it.
Yeah, so it's like changing the way how it's perceived to be.
Yes, because you're kind of, in my
Yeah.
experiences, at least, you need to kind of challenge the currently held assumption.
Yes, I agree. I I think it's been caught there for a long time, even many years ago, and I like it. Like the Course in Miracles would talk about this to a degree. Quite a few things that similar to what I hear in this, but I couldn't. Yeah, get that, or maybe be willing, or time wasn't right or whatever, but feel like it's closer. That whole perception subject
And
and yeah.
from there, like when you get glimpses of this, maybe in the future, um, from there it's easier to understand or to clearly see that everything that is happening in your current experience is, for lack of a better way to say it, happening for you. You are creating what is happening.
I do sense that, even though it's not, yeah, especially this whole situation where I am now, because I have asked for it to be brought, to bring it on, to really, yeah. So it's not, even though it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, but it's not negative truly, like truly this is actually a good thing.
It's neither good or bad.
Yeah. But this is good about the bad. Even I feel like it's not. Yeah, it's not good or bad, but it feels like it's not I'm not stuck now just in believing the suffering. But maybe that's the exercise, just to um, um, to be with, is being aware that this isn't just this little self, this person having all these experiences, as much as seeing that this one's just a part of
Well, there is
a
no
big
separation from
picture.
this perspective. There's nothing
Yeah,
to
I can feel that here
protect yourself
in the
from.
heart. Yeah. Mm.
I would say circle back to allowing and just have that your focus of meditation for a while.
Thanks, Vince. You just read my mind. You knew I was going to ask for a step. I just wanted like one instruction. Otherwise, how to carry on. Yeah. Just allow.
That to you before you asked, otherwise I would have said no.
What's that? What
I'm
do you say?
I'm glad I gave you that instruction before you asked for instruction, because if you asked for instruction I would have said no, you're
Ah,
not going to get
yeah.
one. Yeah.
No, I was just inside me. Yeah, that's good. I didn't say it. Okay. I'm glad I came on.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here too.
It's been, I mean, that was scary in itself, but now I've got through that. I mean, last week I felt like um I couldn't. I felt like I was in a TV show. Maybe I am anyway, and I didn't feel like relaxed. But this time it just feels easygoing.
Great. Yeah.
So something shifted. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Maybe, yeah, I was pretending more, not intentionally pretending.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
It's all about discovering.
very much, both of you. Yes. Yeah. Good. What else to do in life? This is life.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Inescapable.
Yeah.
How's life for you at the moment, Lou? What's it doing for you? Or not doing for you?
Hello. Well, I've been on Todd and Penilla's retreat this week,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
workshop. It's been interesting. Because it's a lot of movement, it's a lot of physical exercise and releasing, and at the beginning of the week, I felt quite numb actually. I mean, usually can feel sensations and contractions in the body. And it got to day 2 and I just felt really, really quite numb, couldn't feel much. And I did hear Pernilla say at the beginning, she said a lot of this is subconscious. It's not, this don't go looking for too much meaning. So I just went with it. And every day Todd does a meditation. And the first night, it was about love, the first one. And he asked to find somebody you feel really close to, that you could feel that love. And I realized I couldn't really find anybody that I really felt that connection to, like really, like and as the week's gone on, we've done exercises, and the exercise we did yesterday was sitting with a group of people and sending and receiving love, what we called it, but and it was that connection. I really felt everything in my body all of a sudden. Been having dreams, and then the meditation that I did this morning, that Todd did. I had to go to town today, and it's really quite strange. Because that feeling, I realize, is there all the time. And he broke it down so slowly that I could see that the visual lands on something like a chair, and then I either feel that connection, or there's judgment, there's a thought about it that I don't like it, or it should be different, or it should be cleaner, or it should be. and just being in town, just it was really strange. I could just see all the judgments, like quite finely. I could quite kind of what I did like, what I didn't like. I felt connection here, or that feeling, and I felt a little desensitized to that. Usually, I don't like dogs barking. It just I usually get quite tense, and these dogs were making a lot of noise, and it was just another sound. There was no contraction there at all. So I don't know. It's just yeah, just I feel like I've been shaken up. A bottle has been shaken up, and I haven't quite figured out how it's landed yet.
I love it. Mm.
But what was a relief is that I don't have to find a story to the sensations that are going on in the body. Oh, it's such a relief. Yeah, and then I can feel the contractions. I can feel the open, the heat, and watching if there's this, a like, a don't like, and that's okay too. I can like something or not like something, and that's okay.
Beautiful. Hmm. That took me into a feeling place that was, I had nothing to say. It was just a lovely feeling place. Thank you.
Just comes from nowhere. Oh,
Mm.
and I can
Yeah.
just see that all that's obscuring that is a thought, which is fine too.
Mm.
Mm, that's
Well, I keep getting surprised at how close to the surface that is, how little it takes to release it.
mm,
It's just, yeah, lovely.
it's good to be here. Thank you.
I've just spotted two triggers. And I'm a bit excited about it.
Oh, good.
It's nice. In a few instances when Marius tried to guide me, and it was catastrophic. Like, it made you, Vince, throw your arms up in frustration. I and now I see it. The things, tone of voice, it somehow gets labeled in my head as spiritual voice, and it triggers all the defenses. And the second thing I don't understand, but that Marius starts with, "Do you see?" But something. I don't know why it triggers, but it triggers.
But you don't need to know why, do you?
But I guess now that I see it, it can come up with time.
Yeah.
I will find the connection, but I don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to chase it. It will show or not. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Marius. So,
No,
it
it's fine,
happens.
Big. I'm glad you see the triggers, and I'm happy to explore it with you if you want.
Well, I don't know what can be done at this moment other than waiting for something to show up.
Well, be sure to speak more spiritual then, so we get more opportunities.
Mechanistically spiritual. I'm joking. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Yeah.
I got a head off. I just want to say from the art, it's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Declan. Maybe it's time for us all to go, eh? Unless
But
anybody
he's got.
else. Sorry? Oh, you're not talking to us. So I'd be interested, who is Firefly AI? Who's doing that one?
I don't know. I thought you
Oh.
were doing it.
No, it's not me, that one. Mine's the old Fathom one at the top. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right. So we call it a night or call it a take, whatever.
Get some rest.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.